Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Welcome to What's on Tap podcast. I am your host, Stefan.
I'm your host, Martin.
And we are here to drink some beers.
I almost started in Swedish because we're going to be drinking two Swedish beers.
We are going to be drinking two Swedish beers.
But if that was the rule, we would have a lot of Swedish episodes, and that wouldn't work.
That is true.
Our one listener, who's probably English speaking, he or she would stop listening, and we would have zero.
Almost
listeners.
Immediately, yes. I agree.
I'm pretty certain that we only have one listener.
Well, I mean...
or maybe dozens.
Probably dozens.
Literally dozens.
Literally dozens.
So you brought both of these beers?
I did bring both of these beers, and they're from two of my favorite Swedish breweries. Remmarlöv, of course, we've featured on the show many times, and I've talked about my admiration for them. And the Jennius?
Yeah, Jennius.
Jennius, even though I'm stumbling through the pronunciation, is literally one of my favorite IPAs that I can get off the shelf. It's cheap, it's always tasty, and it's just kind of brewed to a more classic style. It's not hazy. The only reason why I don't drink it more often is because they don't sell it at the local Systembolaget. They don't sell Remmarlöv at the local Systembolaget, so I've asked them if they could start stocking some, because it'd be nice just to have a few options. Otherwise, I have to order bottles from online, or I have to go to Hansa or someplace. Actually, I can go to Hansa. I don't even think they have it at Emporia. But anyway, it despite being a popular brewery in Skåne, somehow still hard to get.
Yeah.
But
that's probably because of those rules of what counts as local and not. Then you're only allowed to be in the closest ones, etc. Blah blah blah.
Who knows? But no, they have pretty good Swedish coverage, I think now. But Remmarlöv, they do. I say where they excel is the traditional, like lagers, basic IPAs. Anytime they get into like the sours or try to do hazy beers, they've gotten better with the hazy beers. Yeah, they used to be a real like wolf, but now the last couple of releases have been actually pretty good. But the Jennius is I want to say it's right around 5 to 6% ABV. And
because that's not the beer we have on the show today.
It's not. Today we have the Double Jeenius, which is an 8.8% double IPA.
I think they made it for their 10-year anniversary.
It is. It is made for their 10-year anniversary. Wow, they've been around for 10 years.
Yeah.
That seems crazy. But this is kind of what they do. They make this the clearest, like, if you were to look at this beer and just picked up and looked at it, you would think it was a lager. Yeah. It is the clearest looking double IPA in the history of double IPAs. Maybe except for that one time when we got that Tool beer that was a hazy double IPA, and it was like just see-through. Yeah. I don't know if you remember that one. That was a long time ago. But this is just kind of what I expect from them. I was a little surprised it wasn't hazy, but it's just so clean. It's just so clear looking, and then it really keeps a residual foam ring right around the top, which I like. I think it's quite nice.
I have a tiny story about Hampus, the brewer at Remmarlöv. A friend of mine, this is many years ago now. I didn't know this friend at the time, and you'll soon understand why that is a shame. He took over Hampus, the brewer's old apartment, and Hampus didn't have time to clean out his cellar, which only included homebrewed beers.
Oh, nice.
So he was like, are you okay with me not cleaning that area? You'll get the beers. My friend Chris said, oh, that's not a problem at all. I have no qualms about this. And like inherited like 100 bottles of home brewed beer before. Wow. This is before Remmarlöv existed, when Hampus was still a home brewer. And he drank them all before me and Chris became friends. But they were all unlabeled.
No idea what anything was.
Probably there was some kind of remembrance like this shelf has those, but that knowledge had been long gone.
Of course.
So every bottle was a new
a new experience.
Yes.
What are we getting today?
Exactly. Who knows?
Yeah. But yeah, they haven't been out. So they have a farm in Islov.
Yep.
That looks really nice. I haven't been out there, but I always think one of these days I'm going to take the train and then, I guess, walk however far it is to get there.
You need a friend who drives.
Take a taxi. Drink. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this
smells a bitter West Coast.
Yeah,
standard.
Like nice hoppy dankness to it.
Yep.
It looks. I'm really excited about it. Let's do this.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. I was afraid this would get into that malty kind of, like the way you used to try double IPAs before they became hazy.
Yep.
They were just kind of like malty bubblegum kind of flavors. But this is...
It doesn't, but
right.
I'm getting a clear soap taste.
I don't get any soap at all. I get just like a strong, bitter backbone to it.
It's almost overwhelming.
Really?
I didn't.
I don't get any soap at all.
I rinsed this glass with water. This is really strange.
I wonder if it's the hops that they use. It doesn't say what hops they used on this. But I'm wondering if it's the hop profile. Because for me, this just comes off as a very dry and bitter, like not what you would expect from like a traditional double IPA. So I'm curious if the hop profile is
some hops that I don't.
Right, that is kind of like the cilantro thing.
But I love cilantro.
But yeah, I mean, this is a different kind of thing. But I get zero soap off of this.
Yeah, no one who has checked it in has mentioned anything like it, and it's getting decent to good reviews.
Yeah.
Maybe I have no idea.
It's like they're using like Chinook or something, and you're like, well, apparently Chinook tastes like soap.
But that was just an example, right?
Right.
Chinook.
I don't know what the hops are on this.
The internet couldn't help us out.
Yeah. But for me, it just smells like a really, I mean, it's got a nice hoppy, bit of a funky nose to it and the dankness. But apparently this is not working for you at all.
I'll try to drink from the can.
All right. Yeah, for me, it's just kind of... Yeah, it's whatever the hops are. They are just not working for... It's kind of like Idaho 7 tastes like...
Rotten fruit.
Like rotten sewer or something to me. Maybe whatever the hops are in this, it's kind of like... Your mind just goes, this is soap.
Yeah, but not like lemon soap.
More like cleaning agent.
Cleaning agent. Yeah. Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, I get exactly what you mean. But I don't get any of that. I just get a really strong, bitter finish to it. It's very dry. Finishes very clean. I find this extremely drinkable. But I know that we are vastly different on this. I haven't seen you this uncomfortable drinking a beer, I think, in your entire life.
I'll try to keep drinking it, but this detergent... Okay, I'll cheat and drink from the other beer before. Well, just to...
You have water as well. You could just drink water.
The water obviously doesn't work.
All right. Yeah, so the other beer we're going to have...
It's a secret. We're not there yet.
All right.
I'm there yet, but you're not.
All right. It's going to be weird.
It's still there, but it's slightly better with my taste buds slush with
something else.
Because it's just the initial hit of flavor that's just laundry detergent. And when that dies down, I agree that the bitterness is nice. The aftertaste is way better than the first, punch of...
of Tide Pods.
Tide Pods, exactly. And having my mouth coated with the next beer, which is a much more flavorful beer. kind of helps. But this is a weird one. I'm not sure I should review it, but it's obviously not defective because you like it.
Yeah, and like I said, the reviews are...
Maybe it's just not my style. But Jeenius is tasty. I would guess that Double Jeenius is the same hops as Jeenius. They just ramped it up.
I can't imagine why they would use a different one.
Because otherwise it would be double some other beer.
Exactly. That's interesting. Well, we'll have to figure out what the hops are and see. And then we'll have to do some taste with that and see how that works for you. But no, I mean, we've discovered that there are many different types of hops, and sometimes you're just like, ugh, this is not a... This just doesn't... Like, some of them taste like dirt, some of them taste like soap, some of them taste like rotten fruit. I mean, there's a wide flavor range for especially old world hops, which is probably what they're using here, if I had to guess.
Probably. But I'll give it a 2.5.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give it a 4 because I absolutely love it. This is like everything I want is like right here. I mean, it's just working for me on many levels. All right, so we'll put that to the side, and then we'll move on to We Are Not Alone, which is Elm Eleven's latest release, and it is a raspberry blackcurrant toasted marshmallow sour. This is not far off from the beer that we had in our
Christmas
calendar, but it had some sort of graham cracker or something like that, I believe. I think there was chocolate as well. But so we've not had these. We've had these flavor profiles in other beers before, and I think anytime Elm Eleven puts out a new beer, I'm always excited about it. I don't know who's doing his artwork, but it seems to be getting more and more esoteric. I mean, it's abstract. Yeah, it's really like clip art connections. Yeah, I mean, this smells like marshmallow and a little bit of, I don't know, a little chocolate or something in there. Yeah. Definitely some dark berries.
I am a big fan of combining sour beers with toasted marshmallow sweetness.
You really can't go wrong. It's a
really fun, really fun combination.
And this comes in at 6% ABV. All right.
That's amazing because I've already tasted it. I have previous knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh yeah, that toasted marshmallow really smooths out the super aggressive raspberry and blackberry. If the toasted marshmallow wasn't there, this would be an acid bomb. Yes. It would be almost undrinkable.
Yes.
I get kind of a bit of a metallic flavor in the aftertaste, but I think it's just because the aggressiveness of the raspberries and blackberries kind of do that to me. Kind of like you with the soap. Yeah, exactly. I don't think there's anything wrong with the beer. I don't think it's coming from the can. I think it's just the raspberry gets so aggressive that it kind of mellows into a metallic-y kind of flavor for me sometimes.
Right. I have, when it comes to Elm Eleven, I have a hot take that I want to run by you. Mm-hmm. That I have no basis for this, but when Elm Eleven are brewing and Chad beer combined into molecule, my feeling, and this is just a guess and a feeling, is that Hannes does the stout recipes, Anders does the Elm Eleven sour recipes, and Chad does the IPA recipes.
Yeah,
and that might not be true, but that might be a mistake because Hannes has made some good IPAs in the past, and Anders has made non-sours that were great. I think it's possible that they've cursed themselves with success. So if Anders does stuff that's not sours, they will not make sours, and these sours are so good that he needs to keep making them.
Yeah, and I wonder if there's some cross-pollination within their little collective as well. Like anytime that Anders wants to do an IPA or a lager or something,
it'll become a Chad.
It becomes a Chad beer release.
But that's fine. Then he can still get an outlet for his creativity.
Yeah.
What I fear is that specifically Anders will tire of making these kind of sours. Because he has a history of making a wide range of beers. Yeah. I think even Imperial Stouts that were bangers.
I wonder if you looked at the Chad beer releases if there's some hidden art. Because I've noticed Chad beer, they used to have pretty unfanciful logos and stuff, but they've gotten really snazzy with their designs recently. Yeah. So I'm curious if they just have an in-house designer that does all of it for them. Or maybe one of them, designs all of the labels. Probably Anders.
I think Hanna still does the Nerd Brewing because they follow the same.
Well, Nerd Brewing has a very distinct look, whereas Chad and Elm Eleven are kind of coming out of the gate as the newbies that haven't had years of brewing and an established brand, design. Right. But I'm curious if Chad and Elm Eleven and Hannes and Nerd Brewing, they inspire each other and then switch off and things like that. I mean,
let's hope that that's the case.
We've had a Nerd Brewing Saison. What was it, F5?
Yeah.
And I thought it was really great.
It was a long time ago.
That has been like 3 or 4 years, yeah.
No, might be more.
It was about 4 years ago, I would say.
Definitely before Molecule.
Oh, yeah, way before Molecule. Yeah. And he did another non-stout, but as far as I know, there's only been maybe 2 non-stout releases in System Alliance.
That might be true.
Yeah, I know he does a lot of when you go to beer festivals, he used to have stuff on tap that he would do, or
beta
side
series.
bottles or whatever. Yeah, the Alpha series.
No.
Oh, the Alpha was his test stuff, and then he had Beta was the
he never had
pre-production.
Alpha.
No, I think he said Alpha was the stuff he did for friends or whatever, or when he was really experimenting. He never released anything with Alpha,
yeah.
But that's the way he described it. Yeah, so we should really do a Chad beer at some point.
Yeah, I keep buying them.
Well, you should bring them on the show.
Yeah,
we just haven't tried one on the show yet. So.
Now I forget
that because we haven't.
So Elements. There was Elements 1, 2, 3, whatever. And there's some other name that's up to 7th. Chad.
But yeah, we should definitely. We've had Nerd Brewing several times. We've had Elm Eleven a couple of times, 3 or 4 times now. So really, we need to throw in some Chad beer just to kind of highlight the third part of that Devil's Threesome that they have.
Yeah, we should.
All right. So what do you give We Are Not Alone?
4.25.
I completely agree with you. I think it's another excellent sour release from Elm Eleven.
Anders, you magnificent bastard. You did it again.
I know. So good. And if you're in Skåne, once a month they open their tap room.
Yep.
And they have a bunch of beers on tap that they don't release sometimes to the public.
We need to go there and record it.
We really, really need to. We need to get off our asses and actually go places.
Ugh.
So much work. Well, we'll wrap it up here. You can find us on What's on Tap, podcast.com, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever you find podcasts, you'll find us. So until next time.
Keep drinking it, dum-dum.